And welcome to another edition of On the Hash with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel here on Cova Sports TV and wherever you may be tuning in through virginiapreps.com or IG, Apple, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, X. We thank you for doing so. LinkedIn too. And of course, make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel, Cova Sports TV, for all the different various shows we give you with the podcast, with anything from the likes of live high school football, soccer, lacrosse, field hockey action. We have you covered wall to wall. Plus, you can also check out the podcast like Off the Turf or On the Turf with Beanie, Field Hockey Edition. You can, I should say Hockey Off the Turf is what it's called. I believe it is now. Morning Drive with Johnny D and his crew, which is heard locally on the radio on 1310 AM. And, of course, 757 Saturday Sports Talk right here on Cova Sports TV with yours truly and the coach, Ed Young. Let's go into what's taking place in high school football. Latest power ratings are out. We'll get to that in a moment. Our new VirginiaPreps.com Class 6 through Class 1 top 10s as we've really crossed the midway point of the regular season, but really at the midway point if you want to count the playoff rounds, because there are 5 rounds of postseason games and not a whole lot of shocking results from last week. But we'll go first with what transpired in the Beach last Thursday. It was mostly status quo with the likes of Green Run winning comfortably over Lansdowne, Bayside beating beating First Colonial by a running clock margin, just about 28-point margin. A running clock margin in the case of Tallwood over PA by 35. Salem, nice bounce back for them, 35-7 over Kellam. They've got Ocean Lakes coming up on Friday night, which is a key game for them as they try to get one of those top seeds in Region 5A. And then the one game that was a little bit of a mild surprise to some, I think both Coach Young and I took Ocean Lakes. The Dolphins on senior night at home hosting Kempsville. Kempsville coming in trying to make it 4 in a row over the Dolphins, and they did just that. And they got stellar linebacker play the entire night, did the Chiefs, which really propelled them past Ocean Lakes 23-15. They took away the running game almost entirely for Ocean Lakes, save one big run from the quarterback and Noah Colon, and they had some guys making some just incredible tackles all night long from that second level of their defense. When you talk about Elijah McDaniel and you talk about Daryl Veal and Jason Galloway. Galloway, by my count, had 10 total tackles. So too did McDaniel, with 6 of those stops coming behind the line of scrimmage. He had a pass breakup and 2 interceptions from Jalen Hatton, who's got like 6 now on the year. And we were able to catch up with the head football coach. We actually spoke with both Jalen Hatton and Elijah McDaniel on 757 Saturday Sports Talk last Saturday. You can go check that out on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. Punch it up. It's also on VirginiaPreps.com for all of you that might have missed that. But we also caught up with the head football coach of the Chiefs of Kempsville High. We're talking about Daryl Cherry, and here's what he told us following that win that moved them to 4-2 in advance of their game coming up on Friday night against First Colonial. Let's check it out now here on The Hash with Hatfield.
I'm here with Kempsville head football coach Daryl Cherry after his team's 23-15 comeback win over Ocean Lakes to move to 4-2. Coach, this is your type of football. It's getting colder, the weather here in October, and you battled back tonight. Showed a lot of resiliency and pride. How proud are you of this group to do so and spoil their senior night after they took the lead early in the third quarter?
I've been very proud of these guys. They've been working hard. Our defense is playing fantastic right now for us, giving us the opportunity for our offense to get it together and put some points on the board. Special teams. So tonight was our first team win on all phases of the game.
From game 1 to now, I was just talking with a couple of your defenders in Elijah McDaniel and Jalen Hatton. Hatton's got 6 picks tonight. And then we'll talk about McDaniel and Galloway for what they did defensively. But from the Salem game to the Green Run game you lost in the rain to now, physical team is growing and growing. Other than that one run, Noah Colon was a darn good quarterback for them in terms of scrambling. Y'all were about as outstanding as you've been in a long while.
Yes, like far as that linebacker core, they've been working hard together during the offseason. It's a young group of guys with 2 juniors inside with Elijah Daniels and Galloway, and our 2 seniors on the outside with DV and Gary. So those guys is playing phenomenal, and in the secondary are experienced guys, be able to play the ball like Jalen Hatton. He's been doing an excellent job, controlling the secondary for us and stuff like that, going up and get the ball. So those guys been playing hard, man, and they starting to believe. So we're rallying behind him.
Where did he come from? 6 INTs this year, 2 tonight. He's sort of just, it feels like he's getting better and better, gaining confidence game by game. And then you said his linebackers makes such a big deal with Veal and Galloway and McDaniel for 10 tackles apiece. They combined for 11 behind the line of scrimmage. You got to take that linebacking core with the best around, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, Jalen Haddon, he's wearing the number 4 for a reason. His best friend is Riley McIntosh. So
Okay.
he's doing his best impression or even better right now. Just be able to play the game of football the way he loves to play it. So like I said, these guys are really buying in and flying around and having fun. That's the biggest thing. Let the boys have fun and get that W.
That's going to be pretty cool. When McIntosh was one of the area's leaders in INTs, were 4. Now I'm going to wear your number to kind of remember you, and so I can maybe do as well as you did, if not better. How about this other kid that kind of we discovered tonight? We knew about Robert Hughes Jr. for Warren Powell, 102 yards rushing on 8 attempts. Boy, Coach, he hits the hole quickly.
Yes, Warren is one of our returns from last year. He played JV last year. So we had a young running back core. Of course, we lost our leading rusher last year, but over here at Kempsville football, we're going to try to find a way to run the football. So we got Hughes coming in from Indian River, doing a fantastic job. So we got that 1-2 punch right now too. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Our line started to come together. So we're just going to continue to get better each week.
How happy for you? I remember walking out in the parking lot the night you lost to Salem, and your quarterback, Sawyer Whitmore, was crushed about a turnover. Tonight, he gives you the touchdown to tie the game. How happy are you on a personal level? He didn't get the start tonight, but to come in off the bench and do what he did for you and put you in position to win this ball game, how happy are you on a personal level for him?
Well, the biggest thing, we got certain packages, and I got seniors that's stepping up with CJ and with Sawyer. So it's exciting to see him. As far as he came to me like, "Look, Coach, I just want to play." So just putting in certain packages for him and letting him control the game, and he did a fantastic job making good, smart decisions towards the end of the stretch, and got us that W for us.
Lastly, that losing streak is long off in the distance. You've made the regional semis the last few years. And at Kempsville, there's sort of a belief of what you guys can do. From game 1 to now, we saw in off-season, you're getting better and better. You're 4-2. What's the ceiling for this group, and what's kind of your sense right now as we get to middle of October?
Well, biggest thing, I'm just taking one game at a time. You know what I mean? As far as our whole goal is just to get better each week. You know what I mean? And the try to get to the playoffs.
Is that to find something new each week or something? Because we hear that cliche.
Every week we try to do something better. You know what I mean? As far as we have that, of course. Still gonna have that stigma on the top of our heads. Everybody don't believe Kempsville is real, but we're real. I mean, we're gonna grind. We're gonna be that smash mouth team that's gonna put in that work, coach hard, work hard, play hard. So that's what we're gonna do each week.
Well, good battle and a nice victory. They beat Ocean Links on the road. Thank you so much. All the best.
I appreciate you.
Good job.
So you heard from Daryl Cherry, head football coach, the Kempsville Chiefs. A nice win for them, 23-15 on the road at Ocean Lakes. A Dolphins team that was putting up a lot of points offensively coming in. In fact, entering that ball game, they were averaging 36 points. Check that. They were averaging 40.6 points per game. They're now averaging 36.3. They limited them to 85 total yards, 53 on the ground, 32 through the air on 4 completions out of 20 attempts. So Kempsville's defense really bottled them up big time in that ball game. So kudos to Daryl Cherry and company as they try to get one of those top seats. We'll show you the power ratings in just a bit. It'll scroll across the ticker for the various regions involving teams from the 757 area code and beyond. Class 6 Region A, Class 5 Region A, Region B, Class 4 Region A, Class 3, Class 2, and so on and so forth. We got coming up in a little bit, William West, the head football coach of the Rappahannock Raiders, as they are making some noise in Class 1 Region A, knocking off Essex after losing 28 in a row in the series. That's coming your way in just a bit here on the Hash with Hatfield. And since we're talking about coaches, it would be apropos. I'll get to the standout player in a moment, but we didn't give him some love last week. We did put it on social, but last week's IL Giardino Chicken Arm Coach of the Week was the one and only Anthony Joffrion of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, who are still unbeaten. Big showdown in 8 days at Beard DeLong Easley Field against the Oscar Smith Tigers. This week's Coach of the Week, they'll be in action on Thursday night against the Churchland Truckers at Powhatan Field in Norfolk. It's none other than Kendal Jefferson of Granby, and what a job he's done. They have never started a season out with 5 consecutive shutouts until this year. And this year's team, after blanking Denby, Kickingham, Norview, Booker T, and Lakeland, moved to 6-0, their first 6-0 start in 12 years. That was under Kurt Brown, the year they lost to Lake Taylor regular season, or only blemished when Jalen Holmes, now a new signee of the Washington Commanders, Jalen Holmes, Lake Taylor standout, Ohio State Buckeye great, caught that touchdown pass in the last play of the game on a Hail Mary from Delman Williams, the quarterback. Well, Kendal Jefferson bringing Granby back to some of those glory days of 12 years ago, 6-0, trying to make it to 7-0 as they take on Churchland. They just beat Lake Taylor 62-13. All 6 of their wins by running clock margins. And if they take down Churchland, Norcom, and Manor, they'll be 9-0 when the big showdown looms on. Right now, it's November the 8th. I've heard whispers it might get moved up to November 7th. Stay tuned. We'll see. It's going to be that last week of the season, though, at Powhatan Field against the city and Eastern District rival, the heavyweight, the defending state champion, Maury Commodores, who, as you might have seen a little while ago on the ticker, put up 97 points on the board against the Manor Mustangs. And I did tease on one of our IG live specials last Friday. I talked more about that. You know, people get so riled up about the 97 Maury. Bottom line is, look, they had seconds and thirds in, and I'm not trying to be demeaning of Manor, but Booker T, Norview right now, they're struggling like Manor, and there's a chance that Maury could hit triple digits. They were not so much going for it. 2 of their first 4 touchdowns were non-offensive scores, a defensive score, and I believe a punt return or a kick return. So this happens when you're that good, and you don't tell your backups to not try hard and play. So people get a little annoyed at that. Maury's is on a different level right now, but Granby, thinking they're on that level, they can really put their test out there. They keep this rolling here, and Kendal Jefferson's doing an awesome job at Granby. A lot of different contributors. He's built that program back into a factor, and they're now in our Class 5 top 10 on VirginiaPreps.com, which we'll go through in a little bit. I mentioned Coach Jefferson got the IL Giardino Coach of the Week last week as they beat Indian River. Indian River was trying to avoid 2 straight losses. They couldn't do so. 22-6, the Tigers were victorious over the Braves in Chesapeake in a key Southeastern District tilt at James L. Fry Stadium, where it was a sellout crowd, packed house, and we had a chance to catch up with the head football coach of the Tigers, of Oscar Frommel Smith. You know who we're talking about. That is none other than Chris Scott, and we now hear what he told us here. It's On the Hash with Hatfield on Cova Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with Oscar Smith, head football coach Chris Scott. His Tigers remain undefeated now 6-0 after defeating Indian River in the Chesapeake rivalry. Southeastern District showdown tonight. 22-6 coach, and you're now 25-1. The Tigers are against the Braves the last 26 meetings. Build up this week. It's always big when Smith and River get together. What'd you see from your guys? And your defense almost had a 4th straight shutout, and you rose to the occasion a couple times there in the red zone as well.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, we went back and forth and moved the ball in spurts, and then I'm trying to grow up a little bit when I start playing field position and actually punting the ball on 4th down. So when you have a defense that's able to do that and start to allow us to back them up, and we were physical, didn't get the third or the first down, physical defense got us where we backed them up. And it really, that 14-0 swing really put us into a comfortable seat, and defense just, allowed us to be comfortable all night.
So let's be honest about the maturity you've shown here with 3 championship rings under your belt. One is that they stopped you a couple times on 4th down. 2, because your defense has been playing since lights out. Or B, a little bit of combination, or I should say C, combination, all those things kind of going hand in hand.
Yeah, obviously a high-stakes game. We're going, when you get into certain field positions, we have them, have it charted to where we should go and shouldn't go, and what the risk reward is, But with that, and when you have a defense like that, you play it to your hand, and allow it to be your advantage.
Smith might be known as DBU now because you got the Cincinnati commit Jamar DeLoach showing the blazing speed to close down there on our edge run. You've got Jaden Koval picked up an offer from Penn State this week, older brother now at Clemson, balling out. And then Jaden Dasbeck, the real cerebral guy for your high football IQ, Army commit, makes a pick in the end zone. And I asked him, I said, did you block the extra point? He was like, yeah, I did. No big deal. But just that group, tell me about what they've done and your whole defense locked in. That back end is such a big deal, though.
It is. The back end is such a big deal. And when we talk about it and the guys that we have, we're 8 deep there to where we can rotate there at the corner.
That's legit. It's not like, we got to play 8.
No, legit. When we start adding in, you throw in Copeland, and you throw in Breon Dupree, and then Jacoby, who's been great in the in the box for us as an outside linebacker / strong safety, really. So you're exactly right. DBU turning into it, and then and it helps when you get those big boys up front. When you can only have to rush with 4 or 5.
Before flipping for your offense, just speak on the defense. So you got some old stars you had like the Eli Harrells, Giovanni Simmons when you were at Ocean Lakes. How unique is this group in that I was speaking to another coach in your district who said it's not so much Smith's talent. So it's like they have everybody right to the football. And look at your tackles tonight. I chart about like 15, 18 guys with multiple tackles and assist tackles. It's not just one guy eating.
Yeah, it's not. And that we talk about the defensive back area, but up front we have an eight guy rotation as well. And so that allows, Bray, who's a young guy, allows Rayner to come over and play a lot of downs for us in the run game, as a fullback tight end, because we're a physical team all the way around. And, it's just it's great that the defense is coming together and gives us that cushion. We're going to keep running, keep getting this a little bit more points for them, and they'll be happy.
Last year we saw Lonnie Andrews III, then a freshman, throw the touchdown pass final play to your now Ballyhoo 2026 prospect and Travis Johnson to win the game. Tonight, Andrews' stat line doesn't look that glossy, but Coach, I know you got to be thrilled with his efficiency. 11 of 12 in the first half, though it wasn't a lot of yardage. He played smart football.
Yeah, played smart football. How about, he can pull it out the back gate too, and that's a big first down for us, moving the sticks. And Coach Thurgood has just done such a great job with preparing us in the offseason, preparing us each and every week, and then getting Lonnie to play at the top of the game. And those two have a great connection, and he's playing like a senior sophomore at times,
And your two backs, you remember the New York Giants, they had Thunder and Lightning with Ron Dane and Tiki Barber. You got Brandon Nesbitt as your main bell cow, but Tajay Curtis tonight showed a different dimension as well. He runs for 80 yards on 16 attempts, just a 10th grader. He's got a bright future.
Got a bright future. And then, as you talk about the going back and forth from the offense to defense, Coach Simmons just said, hey, can you run the ball? Can you run the clock out for us? And I was like, well, you've done well all night. And so let's see what we can do. And then Coach Singh dials up that where Tajay catches the ball out, had some of those tough runs downhill, and then catches that ball out of the backfield. One hand gets vertical, then it allows us to get into bowl victory.
Lastly, you're about 40% of the way through his journey. If you're 6-0 and you hope to play game 15 up at JMU in December, what's kind of your pulse of this group?
So there you have it. That was Oscar Smith head football coach Chris Scott with us. Sorry about that last question. Apparently got cut off there from our conversation with Coach Scott. So I do apologize about that. But nonetheless, they're looking mighty, mighty good as they beat the Indian River Braves 22-6. And, they're doing so without having shown all the explosiveness and weaponry offensively, in that they could be a little bit better maybe offensively as they move it along, and they'll be looking for that as they take on Kings Fork in a week. But my goodness, that defense, just the talent and the both the quality and quantity at all three levels really in sync, and they kept it hard for Indian River, much like we talk about, with what Kempsville did on defense against Ocean Lakes in a bigger, more of a spotlight, greater magnitude type of game. Braves could not get a whole lot. Rayvon Moore did run for 62 yards on 17 carries, but he had to earn every yard he got. And Cam Kirby did not have a lot rushing, 4 yards on the run, scrambling, 7 of 18 through the air, 55 yards. They took that passing game and made it very, very less than, I should say, very, very ordinary. They didn't make it at all a game-changing situation. So got multiple backs, multiple guys that can catch the football. Travis Johnson continues to be a dynamic player for them, and he's going to have some, I think, big moments as we get closer to playoff time. He just picked up another new offer, by the way, as it was Vanderbilt joining his list. Lonnie Andrews just got a new offer, the quarterback from Norfolk State. So Tigers looking as good as advertised, and number 2 in our latest Virginia Preps Class 6 Top 10, as you might have seen moments ago. We're going to take a timeout and come back with more here on the Hash with Hatfield. When we come back, we're going to have the Class 1 schools in Northern Neck some love. They're in our viewing, listening area. I mean, they're all over the states where we're covering it here on Virginia Preps, but on Cova Sports TV, we give one of the small schools that could be playing for a state championship some love. It's the best start for them in 32 years. William West will join me to talk about his team for a little bit right here on the Hash with Hatfield. It's coming your way in just a moment. But right now, we got to take a quick time out and hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every week. So stay tuned.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Are you transitioning out of the military and need a home? Call Triumph today. That's right. 80% of all Triumph realtors are former military, active duty, or military spouses. And we're female and veteran owned. Triumph Realty, making real estate dreams a reality.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
And we're back here on the hash with Hatfield. We have a special guest with us. He is the head football coach of the Raiders of Rappahannock, who got themselves a very impressive victory last Friday night, 13-8 over the Essex Trojans. They had lost 26 in a row as a program to Essex, who we had ranked number 1 in the state in Class 1 on VirginiaPreps.com. They get it done. First 6-0 start for the Raiders since 1992. We say hello to Coach William West. Coach, thanks for joining us. Had to be thrilling for you and your kids to get that victory over Essex, the old proverbial monkey off the back, if you will, and you're riding high right now. How's the season been going for you?
Absolutely. The season's going well. Extremely blessed and fortunate to have a W after 26 games without beating them. So it was great for the program. Great program victory.
For sure. Let's go through your background because you have been at Rappahannock since 2001. Is that correct?
That's correct. I've been the head coach since 2001. Been here for the last 30 years, I think it is.
Okay. Tell me about what drew you to Rappahannock, what's kept you there, and just the community and the support, because you guys are having a history-making season, if you will.
Absolutely. I'm a graduate of Rappahannock High School, of course, so the love is there. I bleed the red and gray. And I try to instill that same spirit into my young men that play football for me. So Friday night's victory and this 6-0 start has been very, very rewarding. And, we're happy about where we're at right now. Excited for the kids and excited for the program going forward.
Certainly, you've got to be thrilled to have the support of the fans and those that are alums like yourself of Rappahannock High School. I mean, Essex has got a big name in the state for what it's done, and Coach Todd Jones has got an excellent program. They're in the state playoffs, it seems like, year in and year out. But we've been keeping an eye on you guys from afar. I know beginning of the year you had some good pieces, and I want you to talk about some of those key guys for you, especially your quarterback in C.J. Kelly and your running back in Kenneth Madison. Did you all sense that a big moment, a signature type of win was coming, and how have you guys gotten to this point?
Well, the two individuals that you just mentioned, Kelly and Madison, put in the work. We expected big things out of those two individuals as individual stars on the football fields for us. But it all starts up front. Our offensive line, we knew were capable of being pretty impressive this year, and they just tend to wear on you. And, when we give those two kids a seam, they're able to, hit that seam and go for a long way. So we're very appreciative, but the hard work that's come up front is where it's starting at. And those guys are just excelling and doing what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, no, coming into the game just this past week, Coach, Madison was leading the Northern Neck in rushing with 176 yards per game, 15 touchdowns. Kelly, that dual threat for you with 504 yards rushing, 441 passing to go with 14 total touchdowns, 8 on the ground, 6 passing. Those offensive linemen, let's shout those we call them sometimes affectionately the big uglies up front, what they have done for you. And I know a lot of the cases for Class 2 and Class 1 schools, a lot of those linemen have to go both ways, do they not?
Well, I tell you what, we've been very blessed this year and fortunate. We have not had our offensive line to go both ways this year, and that's been a very important piece to our puzzle so far. Neither of our offensive linemen play on the defense, so those 5 guys remain fresh throughout. We did have one to play a few snaps for us on Friday night, but other than that, they stay fresh and they do what they do, and that's where we're at right now.
Outstanding. Who are some of those linemen we should know about? Give us, if you can shout them out, be it on the offensive side or the defensive side, because I want to prepare for your defense in a few minutes, because your defense to hold Essex down to 8 points when they were averaging almost 60 a game, pretty impressive job too.
Absolutely. Well, up front for us on the offensive line, I'll go right across the board. We have our left tackle, senior, Billy Houchin, 3-year starter for us, very phenomenal kid, 6'5", 305 pounds. On the opposite side of him, we have John Seal, senior offensive tackle, 4-year starter for the program at 6'4", 240 pounds. And we have our right guard. We have Mr. Hauk over there. That was our center for the last couple of years. Our center this year is Lincoln Walston, and our left guard is Brandon Bracey. So that group has worked together hard and done some things to just make the program go forward. So we're very excited about them. On the defensive side of the ball there for our defensive line, Carter Sullivan and, Kenneth Madison holds down our edges, and we got some guys playing on the inside that are giving us some solid minutes now. Big surprise for us, Samuel Kelly on the inside, Zion Graham and Tyreek Harris. All those guys have been performing very well for us night in and night out.
When you play a team like Essex and you know what they're going to do, it's just a well-oiled machine. I almost compare a little bit to Riverheads. As you know, they had a stranglehold on Class 1 for a lot of years before going to Class 2. I'm sure that the simple keys, let's be disciplined with our blocks, fundamentally sound, don't miss tackles. But what extra things did you have to do, the little things, to prevail? Because you probably battled them close before, but to get over that hump and win this game, what was the difference this time in your eyes?
I'll be honest with you. The game plan coming in was just to play simple football, to win the one-on-one battles. But the difference with the game on the other night is our kids went in believing. A lot of times, when you've lost a bunch of games, sometimes the kids don't believe as much as you do because they hear everything that goes on in the hallways and everything that comes from other people. But this group of young men believe in what we're doing. They bought in. They're sold into what we're trying to accomplish, and they have a purpose. They have a plan, and we're going forward with it.
I mentioned to you, Coach, first 6-0 start since 1992. I mean, when you have this type of a start and you have the tandem, the offensive line, the defense is flying around, which was the thing that really impressed me. I felt like your offense could make some plays in this game potentially. Essex has got a really stout defense, but when you get this type of win, certainly championship becomes the conversation. It goes from thinking it to now, like you said, believing it and knowing that this can be done. Where do you go after a win like this? Because I know it's not the end for you all. You expect to do even more from here.
Absolutely. Our aspirations, our goals have been set high from the beginning, and this group has bought into that. They believe in each other. They push each other. They challenge each other day in and day out, and we're excited about them. And I can't talk about my defense without talking about my 2 inside linebackers there, with Chase Self and Kevin Fauntleroy. Those 2 guys have been holding it down for us for a couple of years. They're both juniors, and they're playing real solid football for us right now. So I'm excited about everything that's going on right now.
That's tremendous. In a few more minutes here with you and let you run. We appreciate you stopping on here with On the Hash with Hatfield. We give the Northern Next Schools, the Class 1 team that's a contender for a championship this year, Rappahannock, some love as William West has the Raiders rolling here at 6-0 in the season, fresh off that big win over Essex. Was there a game before this? This was the 6th game of the season for you. We've got the results going across our ticker here. Was there maybe a game beforehand, whether it was maybe the win over Nandua or Westmoreland, another Northern Next School that you'll see again, Middlesex, Nelson County, that made you say, all right, this is one that's going to help us in the Essex battle coming up, or forward in the playoffs down the road? Was there a game that you kind of felt like was a turning point for you?
Well, we felt confident and where we were heading from the beginning, but I will say the Nelson game on the road, going down playing a foe that we hadn't played. We scouted them well on film, of course, but our kids went out and had some things go against us from the beginning, had some adversity to overcome, and we bounced back and played lights out in the second half, and that showed the resilience of our team. And that's just excuse me, that's a bell in the background, but that's just the mentality of our group. And we felt after that game, it showed how solid our kids were. We go back to the Westmoreland game, the same thing. We gave them a possession at the beginning of the football game with a short field. They scored, and then we held them scoreless for the remainder of the game. So we're very pleased with where our kids are at right now.
Sure, I'll get you out in two more here before I know you have to go back to class here with the bell ringing there. Any chance for some next level opportunities for some of your guys, be it Kelly and Madison, some others? You got some seniors in this group that have the aspirations and in your eyes potential to play college football?
Well, I definitely think Kelly and Madison are next level type kids. They put in the work, they play hard, they're learning the game, and second to none in their work ethic. So we're very pleased. Madison puts it in the weight room. He does all of the little things to make his game better. And I definitely think those guys have aspirations, and they have the ability to play at the next level.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. And to get you out on this one, certainly I know you want to speak out to all the Northern Neck and Rappahannock fans out there that are enjoying what they're seeing from your squad. What can they expect the rest of the way? And what's the message to the team here as you guys try to pursue a region championship and, dare we say, a state championship for the first time in school history? We know you could see Essex again come Thanksgiving weekend. We know you still got to play in your district, Northumberland, end of the year, but this could be an exciting run for you guys here to November.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a very humble group of young men, so of course, we want to stay humble and keep going forward and, taking one game, each week, one game at a time. And that's our goal right now.
Well, it's a great win for Rappahannock as they celebrated 13-8 over Essex, but they're not done. 6 games in the books. They hope to get 4 more victories, finish up their first unbeaten regular season, and get to the playoffs with a chance at a region championship and a state title. Coach William West, thank you so much for stopping by. All the best to you and your Raiders the rest of the way, and we'll talk down the road.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for having us.
That's William West, our guest here with us on The Hash with Hatfield. We'll take a timeout and come back with more here. You're watching with us on Cova Sports TV. Hit that like button, that share button, and definitely that subscribe button for more as we talk to you about the world of high school football. We'll come back and put the finishing touches on this week's episode. Stay tuned.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
Get ready for the Neptune Bowl presented by DoubleTree by Hilton on November 23rd, 2024 at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Tailgating starts at 10 a.m. Grab your passes for just $50. Gates open at 12:30 with kickoff at 2 p.m. Advance tickets are only $20 or $25 at the gate on game day. Don't miss the third annual Neptune Bowl featuring a dynamic matchup between the Apprentice School Builders and the Atlantis University Atlanteans. Visit beachsportsplex.com to learn more today and secure your spot.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here!
We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to On the Hash with Hatfield on this 17th day of October, the year 2024. We talk to you about everything in the world of high school football, 757 style and beyond. Glad you are all tuned in here to this episode. We gave you earlier our Il Giardino Coach of the Week. It's now time to unveil who got the Chicho's Pizza 757 Football Player of the Week. And folks, this was a very difficult week to select a player of the week. Some week we're just searching. We're scraping the barrel. We're searching for guys. That was not the case whatsoever this past week because you had a number of guys step up. I could probably give you a gold, silver, and bronze medal for player of the week and some other guys that stepped up and made some plays that weren't even in consideration that on another week would probably get it or have a great shot at it. This week, it was really down to 3 guys that stood out. And I'm going to give a guy that threw 7 touchdown passes the bronze medal in this. This is how bad this is. And he has a chance to get it with a big game tonight against the Churchland Truckers. He plays for the guy we mentioned earlier in Kendal Jefferson that got Coach of the Week. We're talking about the guy that is the quarterback at Granby. His name is Jashawn Rhodes. And Jashawn Rhodes gets my bronze. He doesn't get a medal, but he's had some stupendous performances lately. And so much so that, and by the way, Marcus Chapman of Hampton, 5 TDs for him, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Didn't even make the gold, silver, bronze medal situation, but had a good night. Same goes for Tyrell Grant, quarterback for Nansemond River, who put up just eye-popping numbers as well. Tyrell Grant, real quickly, I mentioned what the young man at Hampton did, quarterback, trigger man for Granby. Listen to his numbers. You'll say, my gosh, these quarterbacks are just destroying it right now. We didn't even get to Tory Newkirk at Morey or Kassan Farrar at Green Run. But in terms of Tyrell Grant last week, 17 of 23 for 354, 4 TDs, ran for 42 yards on 5 attempts and a TD as Nansemond River cruised past Hickory 59-26. But Mr. Rhodes for the Granby Comets, what a game he had. What a season he's turning in right now. Let's do his numbers the last 2 weeks. Against the Lakeland Cavaliers the week before last, he was a perfect 13 of 13 for 259 and 6 TDs. You can't get better than that. 57-0 over the Cavaliers, running clock, shutout. This game, 17 of 27 for 360 and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, 17 of 27 for 360. You say you're gonna dock him points for only completing 62.9% of his passes? Yeah, that's what we did. As Granby just absolutely thumped Lake Taylor 62-13. He was our bronze, not even our silver or gold. So that tells you how unbelievable silver and gold were, right? Let's get to silver. And I so badly wanted to give it to this young man. And it wasn't because he's not a senior and the other guy is a senior. But listen to what he did for the Bethel Bruins who are making some noise. He's having a heck of a year. Ran for over 100 yards and a couple scores against Phoebus. Well, they beat Gloucester by a running clock margin. Piece of cake win for the Bethel Bruins.
as they took down their Peninsula District counterpart 58-0. And Amari Pryor, the running back, 23 carries for 315 yards and 7 TDs. 7. I know it was Gloucester. I don't care who you are. You get 7 touchdowns. That's a heck of a job. 13.7 yards per pop. And he didn't even get player of the week. This guy better have unbelievable numbers that gets it. He better have it, Hatfield. That's what I'm hearing. Well, here it is. Our Chicho's Pizza 757 football player of the week. He did it in a much more competitive, close game, which might have been part of the selection here, taking nothing from Pryor or the Granby triggerman or the Nansman signal caller or the Hampton QB. But in a rivalry game in Portsmouth, a game at Billy Strickland Stadium, 36-20, Norcom, a winner over the Truckers. Matthew Alton, who's got a great first name, and that might have been his help in this process. Listen to his statistics as he got it done and got our player of the week. Mr. Alton, all he did was run the football as a wide receiver 23 times for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. He caught the ball twice for 148 yards and 2 scores. Had a 28-yard kickoff return. In total, 325 yards, 4 TDs. He had 4 or 5 TDs in the win over Churchland. And the Penn State recruit gets our player of the week for having over 300 yards at the Russian running back receiver spots and carrying his team to victory as they move to 4-3 on the year. So congratulations to Matthew Alton, Chicho's Pizza player of the week. You should have something coming your way. Perhaps from Chicho's. We'll have a plaque for you, we hope, in the very near future as well, as we've delivered those to the recent winners in Kassan Farrar of Green Run and Cam Kirby of Indian River. And no note where you will get yours soon from the Phoebus Phantoms. So there you have it. Thanks to Chicho's Pizza, our man at VA Trophy, Bruce Pearl, and all the folks that help us with our player of the week selections. And by the way, that quarterback for Granby on the season, his numbers are insane. I think he's got 27 TD passes on the year, which is just mind-boggling to say the least. Before I get to the matchups for this week and give you some quick hitter thoughts on them, only one disagreement, by the way, on the picks with me and Edward Young, which folks can find on virginiapreps.com on Friday. And that's a Southeastern District game involving Grassfield and Hickory, as he has the team with the better record. I have the team with the not as great record for the time being, so you can figure that out moving forward here. But power ratings wise, you're looking at some of these power ratings. The thing that's jumping out at me is the discrepancy between some of the regions. And we've heard this for many years. So, for example, take Class 6 Region A, where you have your 1 seed is Oscar Smith right now. Your number 2 seed is Glen Allen. We had their coach on, Malik Sexton, former Churchland QB, a few weeks back. They're 5-1, just suffered their first loss of the year to Verina. And then you're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your 7 and 8 seeds, as well as your 6 seeds, are all below 500. Whereas in 6B, where you have Stafford, North Stafford, Battlefield, Colonial Forge, Patriot, Gainesville, you'll see them scrolling across the ticker in a moment, all over 500, and all with 5-1 or better records. In the case of Stafford and Battlefield, unbeaten at 6-0. So you have a scenario where you could have probably an 8-win team get a 7 or 8 seed, whereas you probably have a couple teams under 500, maybe 3 that make it in Region 6A. You're looking at 5A and 5B right now. That's like 5B right now. Granby is 6-0 as the 5 seed at the moment. If they were in 5A, they would be guaranteed, you would think, a first-round home playoff game. If not the 1 seed, they'd probably be a 2, 3, or 4 seed. Not a given that they get there here in 2024, and they still got to play more. You say, why is that the case? Well, your power rating is calculated based on who you play on your schedule. So when you played Denby and Kickinton, and they don't have many wins, in the case of Kickinton, no wins out of district, and Lakeland has only got a couple wins, it reduces some of your strength of schedule, whereas a Nansman River could get some points from Bethel and playing in the Southeastern District, which has some heavyweights like your Oscar Smiths, your Indian Rivers, your Kings Forks, and there you have it. So that's how it's calculated. Other thing that's jumping out at me is at 4A, which they're now going, most of your regions in the state are going with 8 teams to make the playoffs. 4A this year is going with 6. The 1-2s are supposed to get buys. So the battle for that second buy, which we know Phoebus is going to get one of them, pretty much between Smithfield and Hampton, unless Churchland can spring the upset of Granby or get a surprise result to get them to that 6 or 7 win ledger by season's end. And getting to 7 is going to be mighty tough for Churchland because they still got to play Maury coming up November 1st. But probably between Smithfield and Hampton, it looks like in 4A. 4B, you look at the teams there and you see a Huguenot who's got a tough matchup this week with LC Bird in the Dominion District up in Richmond. They're the 3 seed right now, and they're unbeaten behind a 1-loss Dinwiddie and 1-loss Ferrani. You say, why is that the case? Well, Dinwiddie played Maury, better power rating there. They've also played GW Danville, who they got a big win over. And in Veronica's case, they played Indian River, helped their power rating. So again, your power rating gets boosted by playing some of these other teams that might have a glossy record, whereas you play a team and you're out of district that, or even teams on your schedule in your district, they're 1-9, 2-8 by season's end, 3-7. It's gonna keep you potentially out of playoffs. I think the region that's going to be most interesting to watch as far as who gets in will probably be the last couple of seeds in 5A, and maybe the last couple of slots in 2A. 2A, which scorecards will take earlier, you've got a King William team tied for the last spot in 2A at 1-6, and they've played Poquoson with some battles in recent years. That's going to be a real interesting one, and Poquoson in line to get that 1 seed in 2A. Bruton's having a phenomenal year. 6-0. They got Arcadia this week. Hard to imagine them getting the 1 seed unless they knock off Poquoson. But the last couple spots in 5, they're probably going to come down to Hickory, Deep Creek, and some of your beach schools like Bayside, Kellam, Tallwood. Those 3 have to still play each other. Bayside's got Green Run this weekend on a Saturday. It's their annual homecoming game. Some key games scrolling across the ticker for this week that we'll move on to. I think there's no real unbelievable must-see matchup this week. It's going to be saved for next week. We've talked about it on our 757 Saturday Sports Talk show that your best games still to see. Oscar Smith hosting Kings Fork next week. You got Warwick and Phoebus in November at Darling Stadium on a Saturday. You got Maury Granby in Norfolk in early November. Around the state this week, your best games are probably between Huguenot, LC Bird, and Richmond. And I would say probably that Allegheny-Glenver game out in Southwest Virginia. But in terms of this week's games, I guess if I had to give you 3 to see, almost like a gold, silver, bronze situation, I'm really hard-pressed to give you a gold. I might give you 2 silvers and a bronze or 2 bronzes and a silver. But I would say the ones that might have the most implications, Beach District, Ocean Lakes, Salem. Ocean Lakes trying to avoid 3 consecutive losses. They really need this win over the Sun Devils. Need Noah Colon in the passing game to get back in sync after losing back-to-back to Cox by 8 and Kempsville by 8. Salem, they've not really had a close game yet. They've won every game by double digits. They've won, closest being the doubling up of Kempsville 28-14, where they got a pick 6 from Isaiah Lovegren to start the 4th quarter off. We know their offense with Jason Scooter Williams at quarterback and Willie Moore at running back has been putting up some pretty strong numbers. They did have the 40-18 loss to Green Run, and a win here helps their chances before a key matchup next week at Cox. Cox playing host to Tallwood. Falcons have been mighty stingy on defense this year with 3 shutouts, giving up just over 11 points per game, and that was pretty much inflated by the loss to Green Run and then the 24 to Ocean Lakes, where all those points came in the second quarter, 2 of which were non-offensive scores for the Dolphins. Southeastern District game, Indian River, much like Ocean Lakes, trying to avoid that skid continuing. They don't want to lose 3 in a row as they host Nansemond River. Nansemond River avoided the 3rd straight loss last week as they got back on the, the last 2 weeks by getting on the winning trail, beating Western Branch and Hickory. They had dropped back-to-back to Oscar Smith and Kings Fork. So for Nansemond now, trying to get on a roll here, make it 3 in a row, and really restore their season as far as being a threat in 5B. Good quarterback battle with Tyrell Grant for Nansemond and Cam Kirby of Indian River, and which defense is going to step up and make some plays. Both have been hit for 20-plus in a couple of games this year. In the case of Indian River, 55 the last 2 games. In the case of Nansemond, they gave up 67 in their 2 losses to the Tigers and the Bulldogs. I'll leave the Braves in that one. I think Indian River will get the job done at home. Salem Ocean Lakes, I'll leave with Salem at home in that spot. I think their defense with Marcus McCoy at linebacker will make enough plays, and I think they'll get their passing game in a better rhythm than Ocean Lakes, which has been a tad hit or miss at times. Plus, the Dolphins up front got to be able to block the Salem pass rush. And the other game I think that has some significance, Bay River's game, and that is Smithfield hosting Poquoson. Smithfield quarterback got hurt last week, Kyle Buck, so I'm keeping an eye on that. Poquoson, meanwhile, word is they could be down to a 3rd-string quarterback because I heard their quarterback that was replacing Eli Tyndall and Keegan Webb got hurt. So whichever team can having a resemblance of a passing game might be crucial because both are going to try to stuff the run. Now, the Packers at home on their surface, they're going to want to give it to Kenyon Martin and really try to ground it out against Pocosin. The Pocosin defense has not been real welcoming as far as run games go, as they have been pretty stout. They've held 4 teams to single digits, giving up just 9.3 on the year. Smithfield, meanwhile, they're giving up 11.2 per game on the year, but they played Lafayette, who Pocosin is yet to face. So this figures to be a one-score tight game. That could be your most interesting game of the week. And the under-the-radar game of the week, to me, in the PD, Hampton and Menchville. Menchville got themselves a nice win in triple overtime, 17-16 over Woodside. Last year, I was at Todd Stadium when they beat the Hampton Crabbers. Can their defense get Marcus Chapman and the Crabbers offense unglued? They're trying to make it 4 consecutive wins. They've been playing better on defense lately, but they beat Kickingham, Gloucester, Woodside. Now they face a real formidable offense here, and we'll see how they do in that matchup because it's not going to be as easy for them by any means in that one. So there you have it. And that's going to do it for this latest episode of On the Hash with Hatfield. Again, check out VirginiaPreps.com for all your rankings, your predictions, your analysis all across the state, not just in the 757. We'll be back with you on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Saturday with yours truly and the coach, Ed Young. And we'll be going through all the high school football results. The power ratings looking more and more interesting and juicier as we get to these last few weeks of the regular season here and wind October down. It's hard to believe we're 2 weeks away from Halloween, or I might have to dress up in a costume for On the Hash with Hatfield. So there you have it, folks. Always a pleasure. Keep it tuned to Cova Sports TV for so much more. And with you next week right here. Take care.
Right.